Picture a classroom. The teacher is 20 minutes into a perfectly structured lecture. The slides are clean, the logic is tight. But look closely at the rows of students. One is replaying a lunch argument in her head. Another is planning his weekend. They look attentive, but they are absorbing almost nothing. This chart shows what happens in their heads over a 50-minute class. Researchers Lindquist and McLean interrupted lectures to ask students what they were thinking. They found mind-wandering climbs steadily from 25% near the beginning to 44% by the end. As task-unrelated thoughts go up, comprehension and memory drop off. The students who drift the most simply remember the least. For years, educators have attributed this drop-off to a biological timer. You have probably heard the claim that human beings can only pay attention for 10 to 15 minutes before their brains just switch off. Psychologists Karen Wilson and James Korn reviewed the evidence for that claim and found it severely lacking. Attention is not a fuel tank that drains on a strict schedule. It fluctuates constantly, making it a moment-by-moment biological decision rather than a fixed limit. Traditional lectures fail because a predictable monologue delivers the exact low-novelty input the human brain is biologically programmed to ignore. Deep inside the brain is a small, seahorse-shaped structure called the hippocampus. It is famous for storing memories, but it also acts as a novelty detector. Every moment, it actively compares what is happening right now against a database of what it already knows. When incoming information is familiar, like the steady, predictable rhythm of a monologue, the hippocampus essentially shrugs. Incoming information is filtered out before it can be encoded. Because the brain is not being tasked by the outside world, the default mode network takes over. This is the brain's factory setting for daydreaming and thinking about the future, and it easily wins the battle for focus when external input goes flat. But watch what happens when reality breaks expectations. The hippocampus fires an alert. It sends a signal down a circuit to a midbrain region called the ventral tegmental area. In response, the ventral tegmental area pumps a flood of dopamine back into the hippocampus. That dopamine acts like a chemical highlighter. It forces the brain to encode whatever is happening in that exact moment into long-term memory. This circuit proves attention is a biological tug-of-war. The hippocampus only swings the brain's focus outward to capture information when it detects something structurally novel. So why do highly educated teachers fail to notice this biological mismatch? Part of the answer is a cognitive trap called the expert blind spot. Once a teacher achieves deep mastery, their neural pathways become automatic. Complex material feels entirely obvious to them. That fluency is an illusion. A smooth, uninterrupted lecture feels highly effective to the person delivering it, masking the reality that they are skipping foundational steps and leaving novices lost in their own daydreaming networks. This chart reveals the macro-level damage of that illusion. A massive 2014 analysis led by Scott Freeman pooled 225 studies comparing traditional lecturing to active learning. They found that students sitting in traditional lectures were 1.5 times more likely to fail, with failure rates running 55% higher than in classrooms that required active participation. In 54,000 students, active learning narrowed gaps in examination scores by 33%. The data suggests that the traditional lecture format, the method that assumes every student arrives equally prepared to sit and absorb, actually widens the achievement gaps it was intended to bridge. You can override the default mode network using curiosity. Economist George Lowenstein defined curiosity as an information gap. Becoming aware of a specific piece of information you do not know but suddenly want to creates a physical tension in the brain. That tension alters human chemistry. Researcher Matthias Gruber scanned subjects in states of high curiosity and saw a massive dopamine flood in the midbrain. The brain responds to a triggered information gap using the exact same reward circuits it uses for food and money. This chemically primed state creates a halo effect. Participants remembered the answer to their curiosity trigger and simultaneously encoded unrelated incidental information presented at the same time. By engineering curiosity in the first 3 minutes, an educator puts the students' brains into a state primed to absorb the rest of the session. There are highly practical ways to implement this science. The first is pretesting. Ask questions before you teach the answers. Data from Carl Spoonar shows that forcing students into committing to a guess before they know the material drops mind-wandering down to just 19%. The second strategy is to reset the brain's novelty signal. Break a class into short lecture segments and insert active tasks like peer instruction or retrieval practice in between them. Debating a peer or committing to a wrong guess yanks the brain right out of the default mode network and restarts the encoding circuit. The future of education belongs to those who stop treating the lecture as the entire meal. The most effective classrooms are reverse engineered to fit the hardware we actually have, creating environments that make the human brain want to know.